Hello everyone, how's it going? Billy Ballgame here, back with another video. On this channel, I'm just a dude who loves to talk about baseball cards. And for some of you, today might be a little bit of a different video for my channel because on this channel, I'm not much of a speculator, but I'm going to do that a little bit today. And what I'm going to talk about is modern guys that are still playing in Major League Baseball who I think have a shot at the Hall of Fame. And this is not going to be an exhaustive list. I focused on players that I already have cards of, just because if I included everybody, this would be way too long of a video. And as a matter of fact, this is actually take two. The second time, or the first time I filmed this, I was using my wife's computer. I was talking about players and cards, and I was pulling them up on Baseball Reference, and I was using my VCP. And her computer kept freezing up, and it was going to be an hour-and-a-half long video. So I decided to go ahead and refilm it. So I have notes written down on paper, so I'm going to go old school here. But what I'm going to focus on, like I just said, is cards of guys that I have in my collection, and guys that have roughly 10 years in the major leagues. Like, there are a lot of amazing young players in baseball, and whether you like this modern era of baseball or not, like, there are some great players in the game today. So I'm not including Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I'm not including Aaron Judge, Pete Alonso, Will Smith, Kyle Tucker, Tatis. Like, those guys don't have enough time in the league for me. So like I said, what I'm going to include is guys that have close to 10 years in the league. And I have a couple different categories. Like, there's a big group of guys that I think could get there but still have work to do, or maybe more long shot type of guys, and I would consider that guys like Corey Snyder, Trey Turner. You could probably throw Frankie Lindor, even though he had a real good year the last couple seasons. Carlos Correa. Like, there are a bunch of dudes I could throw on that list. And then what I mainly wanted to focus on again is guys that I have in my collection, guys that look like they have a pretty good chance at getting to the Hall of Fame. And then I have another category that are guys that I consider a lock, unless they just come out with something morally that is abhorrent, like they're going to get in the Hall of Fame. So there are a couple guys that I would put in the classification of they look pretty good to get into the Hall of Fame. And this category of guys, like, they're on track. They just need to stay healthy and play a few more seasons, or maybe 5 more seasons. And in that category, I don't have any cards of them, but I would put Bryce Harper in that category, and I would put Manny Machado in that category. I'm not going to talk about them in depth today because I don't have any of their rookie cards. But the guys that fall into this category, there are a handful of them. And I'm going to start off with one of my favorite players of the ultra-modern era, and that is Mookie Betts. So Mookie Betts falls into the he may still have some work to do, but it's looking pretty good for him category. And then here is his Topps update. So what I'm going to focus on in this video is just how you can still get their cards on a budget. And I'm going to explain to you their stats, what I think they need to do to kind of seal the deal to get into the Hall of Fame. So really, for Mookie Betts, it's just all about being healthy for him. So he's 31 years old. Baseball Reference has him at 69.6 career WAR. He has 1,615 hits for his career, 271 home runs, and 831 RBIs. Now, his resume, his like titles, his trophies and stuff like that are pretty impressive. He's won an MVP. He's won 6 Gold Gloves. He's been a Major League Player of the Year. He's been an 8-time All-Star, 7 Silver Sluggers, was a Defensive Player of the Year. He's won 3 World Series championships. He's won a batting title. So I don't think that he's going to get to 3,000 hits. Now, I mean, he could, but what really I think he needs to do is be healthy and continue to put up the numbers he's put up in his career up to this point for another probably 4 to 6 seasons. I think if he does that, he'll be, he'll have a shot at 500 home runs for his career, and he'll be around, 14 to 1,500 RBIs for his career. And Mookie Betts isn't an Aaron Judge type dude. Mookie Betts is, I think, 5'9" and 180 pounds. So he's kind of a smaller dude, and his game is not built around speed. So I think he's got a chance to be productive in his later 30s even. And those are, I think we're not going to see a lot of those guys who play into their late 30s and early 40s anymore in baseball, just because they're getting paid $20 to $30 million a season. So unless they just love baseball and they want to go out and just chase all-time career numbers, there's no need for them to hang around past their prime. So I don't think we'll see a lot of these guys into their 40s. But what Mookie Betts needs to do is stay healthy. I think that he's on a Hall of Fame track. I think if he could finish up with around 400 home runs, around 2,500 hits for his career, and around 1,400 or 1,500 RBIs, I think there's absolutely no doubt that Mookie Betts will be in the Hall of Fame, and I think he's got a good shot to do that. And some people out there, you may already think that he is a Hall of Famer, and based off of his WAR, it would be hard to argue with that. But to me, I'm kind of an old school Hall guy. I want to see like counting stats that matter, that compare against some of the all-time greats. Like I want to see 3,000 hits, 500 home runs, different stuff like that. But the truth of the matter is all these guys aren't going to hit those numbers. And, Joe Mauer getting into the Hall of Fame may change how we look at, counting stats as far as the Hall of Fame goes. And I think some of these guys are going to fall into that category. So I absolutely think if Mookie Betts stays healthy and productive at his current level for a few more years, I think he's a Hall of Famer. And then next, after Mookie Betts, we have Giancarlo Stanton. Oh, and Mookie Betts. So let me back up. Mookie Betts' rookie cards, for those of you that don't know, and most of you probably do, his rookie cards are in 2014. And during the pandemic, this was an incredibly expensive card. Like when I sent mine in, this was about $1,000 in a 10 and about $300 in a 9. Now you can get this card in a 10 for around $120 and in a 9 around $40. So they have come down tremendously in price. So if you're a collector on a budget, and you like Mookie Betts and you think he's a great player and you want to buy his cards, you can find them pretty cheap. Now, these players that I'm talking about, this is not advice for you to run out and buy their cards. This is for educational purposes and hopefully entertainment purposes. At the end of the day, I'm not recommending you buy these cards. These are cards that I have in my collection that I'm talking about, and their chances of getting to the Hall of Fame. Now, if you like these players, then by all means, buy their cards. Please do not do them on my recommendation. I have to put the disclaimer out there just to make myself feel better. All right, so Next, Giancarlo Stanton, aka Mike Stanton, on his rookie cards. This is 2010 Topps. So Mike Stanton is 34 years old. Right now he has a 44.7 WAR for his career. He has 429 home runs, 1,103 RBIs. His resume, his Hall of Fame resume, so to speak, include an MVP. He's won 2 Silver Slugger awards. He's a 5-time All-Star. He's American League Championship Series MVP, which I don't know how much that matters as far as MVP or as far as Hall of Fame goes. And he was an All-Star Game MVP. So his rookie cards, this card can be found in a 10 for around $62 and in a 9 for $10 to $15. Now, what I would like to see for Giancarlo Stanton, like some of you may think he's already a Hall of Famer, I would like to see him stay healthy, right? Like that's been the big question throughout his career, is staying healthy. And I think if he were healthier, he would be a lot closer to 500 home runs for his career than he currently is. So you figure he is 71 home runs away from 500. I would like to see him stay healthy and put up some decent production, like 20 to 30 home runs for the next 3 or 4 years, and see him really make a run at 500 home runs is what I would like to see. But I think he's got a good shot at getting into the Hall of Fame, especially if the Yankees can win, another World Series or something like that while he's still playing. So that's my thoughts on Giancarlo, aka Mike Stanton. And again, I have notes, so pardon the page flipping. And then next we have Freddie Freeman. And his rookie cards are 2011. Like, this is one of the greatest modern sets in baseball, in my opinion, is the 2011 Topps set. So Freddie Freeman is 34 years old. He has a 60.7 WAR for his career. He has 343 career home runs, 1,232 career RBIs, 2,267 career hits, and a 300 batting average. And those are impressive stats. He's got some borderline Hall of Fame stats already. And I love Freddie Freeman, left-handed hitting first baseman. Like, he's a dude that's right up my alley. He's also won an MVP. He's won a Gold Glove. He's a 3-time All-Star, which I would think he would have a couple more Gold Gloves and a couple more All-Stars. He's won 2 World Series. He was a World Series MVP. His PSA 10 of this card can be had for around $118. A 9, PSA 9, can be had for $36. And then there's a big drop off on this one with SGC. So an SGC 10 is $63. To me, that's a bargain. And an SGC 9 is $16. So if you like Freddie Freeman, to me, like, he's pretty undervalued, especially on the SGC side of things. So what I would like to see from Freddie Freeman, he's been healthy and he's been very productive throughout his career. The last few seasons have really been some of the most productive seasons in his career. So what I'd like to see for him is just more of the same, 3, 4, maybe 5 years, to where he can really go out and chase some productive numbers. He's 733 hits away from 3,000. He's 157 home runs away from 500. So there's a chance that if Freddie Freeman can stay healthy and produce at a high level, that he can close in on 3,000 hits and 500 home runs for his career. And that's really what I would like him to do. But I think he's very close to having some Hall of Fame numbers already. So those are my thoughts on Freddie Freeman. So next we have Paul Goldschmidt. His rookie card, again, is out of that amazing 2011 Top Set. And I really like Paul Goldschmidt. Like, I have sentimental ties to Paul Goldschmidt with him being on the Cardinals. But last year was not a pretty year for Paul Goldschmidt. He's 36 years old. He has a 62.8 WAR for his career. He has 362 home runs, 1,187 RBIs, 2,056 career hits. He's won an MVP. He's been a 5-time Silver Slugger, 7-time All-Star, 4 times he's won the Gold Glove. His cards, like this card, has come down a lot in the last season or two. I want to say this was up around $170 at one point. Now you can get a 10 for $31 to $41. And his 9s are going to run you about $12 to $15. So, like I said, last year was kind of a painful, as a Cardinals fan, a painful year, not only for Paul Goldschmidt, but for the team in general. And you could really see Paul Goldschmidt starting to show some signs of age last year. He dropped off. His production dropped off a lot. And it's really hard to believe that he won an MVP, I think, in 2022. So he won an MVP in 22, 23, his numbers dropped off, but then this year he had career worst numbers. I think he had around 23 home runs or so, 60 something RBIs, like a 245 batting average. Like, I feel for Paul Goldschmidt. He's one of my favorite players. I think his first 10 years in the big leagues, he was one of the most productive players out there. He's got several top 5 MVP finishes in his career, but I think the best is behind him. It really, at times last year, was a struggle to watch him try to catch up to a fastball. You can just see that his bat has slowed tremendously. I'm hoping that he can figure something out that can give him, stretch his career out for another, 3, 4, 5 seasons. But at age 36 and this quick of a drop off, like, I don't know if he has it in him. But what I would like to see for him is him to hang on for a few more years, get above 400 home runs for his career, and in the 13 to 1400 RBI range is what I would like to see him do. Whether or not he can hang around for that long will remain to be seen, but that's what I would like to see from Paul Goldschmidt. So next we have another player near and dear to my heart. We have Nolan Arenado. And Nolan Arenado was another one of those dudes for like the first 8 years or so of his career was just amazing and put up tremendous numbers. I think 2 years in a row, he led the National League in home runs and RBIs. He had like 40-something home runs and like 130 RBIs, somewhere around there, for 2 years in a row. But he's 33 years old. He has a 56.7 WAR. He's currently sitting at 342 career home runs, 1,132 career RBIs, 1,826 hits. He's been an All-Star 8 times. He's won 6 Platinum Gloves. He's won 10 Gold Gloves, and he's been a 5-time Silver Slugger. His rookie card in a 10 right now is about $30 to $40. And then in a 9, it's about $12 to $15. So again, you can find Nolan Arenado pretty cheap. And really what I would like to see for him, I don't know if the Cardinals are going to bring him back next year. They may try to trade him this offseason. I have no idea if he's going to be a Cardinal or not, but he had a pretty bad offensive statistic season last year, and you can see that he's also starting to lose a step or two on the defensive side of things. So really what I'd like to see for him at age 33 is some somewhat productive seasons over the next 3 or 4 seasons. I think, again, he's really close to, Hall of Fame numbers. I think his gold gloves and his platinum gloves and all that stuff, his all-star appearances will help him. But offensively, to me, he is short in his career of being a Hall of Famer. So what I'd like to see for him is really the same thing. I'd like to see him get above 400 home runs for his career, and in that 13, 14, 1,500 RBI range. They're at 1,826 career hits. Like, I'd like to see him push up close to 2,500 or so. But really, that would mean he'd have to be productive into his age 36, 37, maybe 38-year-old season. And with his drop-off this year, I don't know if he has it in him. I love Nolan Arenado, but this year was a pretty bad season as far as production goes. I think he still had about a 270-something average, if I remember right, or 260, which is low, but it's not anywhere near 245 like Paul Goldschmidt. But you can just tell that he's starting to slow down. And Arenado and Goldschmidt, like, they're both big dudes. So age is going to be rough on them here in the next few seasons. So again, I'm not recommending you go out and buy these guys as cards, but both of those last two dudes I talked about for potential Hall of Famers are extremely cheap in my opinion. So the next that kind of fall into this group, and again, this is a group that you could include, Francisco Lindor and, some other guys like that. But I don't have any of his rookie cards. So the next guy is Jose Ramirez. And I love Jose Ramirez. He looks like a construction worker, not a Major League Baseball player. And it's just amazing the production that he's been able to keep up and be consistent in his career up to this point. And I really do think if he maintains the current track, that he'll have a pretty good shot of making it into the Hall of Fame. But Jose Ramirez is 31 years old. He has a 52.4 WAR. He's a 6-time All-Star, 5-time Silver Slugger. So his resume, as far as awards and league leaders and stuff like that, aren't quite as deep as some of these other guys. But he's put up impressive numbers over his career. So right now he's sitting at 255 home runs, 864 RBIs, 1,500 hits, and believe it or not, 243 steals. And he doesn't look like a stolen base type of dude to me, right? So I love watching Jose Ramirez play because he doesn't look like a physical specimen, highly tuned athletic machine like a lot of these professional athletes are. But he just goes out and quietly puts up consistent production every year. So for Jose Ramirez right now, you can, and this is Topps Chrome, so I looked Topps Chrome up. A 10 you can get between $120 and $150, dependent on SGC or PSA. A 9 is between $30 and $40, again, dependent on SGC or PSA. And really what I would like to see from Jose Ramirez is just to continue to plug away at roughly 30 home runs and in the ballpark of 100 RBIs for the rest of his career, however long that may be. And again, he's 31, so let's hope that there's not a drop-off until he's 35, 36 years old, and that would mean another 4 or 5 years of solid production. And again, if he has 5 more years of averaging 25 home runs a season, then that's going to put him right at the 500 career home run mark and probably 1,500 or so RBIs for his career. So really for Jose Ramirez, I just want to see him continue to do more of what he's already done and just stay healthy. So that, again, there are more guys I could add in this category, but those are the guys that I have rookie cards of. So for me, those are the guys that are close, but still have some work to do. And like I said, I would put Bryce Harper and Manny Machado in that same category, and some of the other guys. So the last part of this list are guys that, in my opinion, if they retired right now, they're Hall of Famers. So the obvious one, and I think all of these are obvious, but the first one everybody's going to mention, or that's going to pop into their brain probably, is going to be Mike Trout. And so Mike Trout is 32 years old. He has an 86.2 WAR. So far for his career, he has 378 home runs, 954 RBIs, 1,648 hits, and 212 steals. He's won 3 MVP awards. He's been a 9-time Silver Slugger, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, 2-time All-Star MVP, 11-time All-Star, and he's won a Major League Player of the Year award. His rookie cards, and this is his tops, his base rookie card, in a 10 is still pretty pricey, $770 to $860 in a 10. In a 9, you can find it from between $313 and $343. Now, it's still a cheap card. If you're a budget collector, that may be a big one. Like, I don't own his Topps base card, but it's hard to say. His card was so expensive for so long because his first 8 years or so of his career were so good. Like, his Topps rookie in a 10 was above $2,000, and then it was above $1,000, and now it's below $1,000. And part of me thinks that this is the cheapest that card is ever going to be, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy in the last 3 or 4 years. Like, if he's not healthy again this year or the following year, that card may come down even more in value. So if you're looking at a Mike Trout rookie card, I don't know what to tell you, because part of me says buy it now, but then another part of me says it could end up being cheaper. So for me, it's tough. Again, please don't take any of this as financial advice. But so for me, this card is much, much cheaper, and that's why I have this one. His Bowman is not as expensive as his Topps. This one's like a $50, $60 card right now, and I paid almost $200 for this, like back in 2021 or 2022, somewhere around there. So what I would like to see from Mike Trout, I think Mike Trout is a Hall of Famer. I think he's a Hall of Famer based off of how spectacular he was for the first 8 years or 10 years of his career. Like, for his first chunk of his career, you could compare him with the greats of all time. You could compare him with Albert Pujols, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, like all of those dudes. But it's really been a tale of 2 careers for Mike Trout, because he just hasn't been able to stay healthy since then. When he's been in the lineup, he's still been productive and put up decent numbers. So what I would like to see, and this is just one dude's opinion, and I'm just a dude sitting in front of my camera, right? Like, I would like to see them move Mike Trout to first base and let him split some time at DH. Get him out of the outfield. The wear and tear on his body is not doing him any favors. Like, he's a gigantic dude. He's like 245 pounds. And that just tells you what a tremendous athlete he is, the fact that he can play center field at that size. But put him on first base. There's less wear and tear there. I know he's athletic enough to do it and do it well. And maybe that keeps him healthier and gets him more at bats. But I'd like to see him have a couple healthy, productive seasons. Get to 500 home runs for his career. Get above 2,000 career hits. 1,300 career RBIs or more. And he's 32 years old. So if he's going to be healthy and productive, it's got to happen in these next few years, because with his size, similar to Paul Goldschmidt, age may not be kind to him. So at 36 years old, he might not be the same level athlete that he is now. He may not have the same bat speed. So if he's going to be productive again, he's going to have to do it here pretty soon over his age 33, 34, 35 seasons in that range. And then maybe after that, if he can stay healthy, he can be an 18 to 25 home runs and 70 to 80 RBI type of dude in his, 36, 37, 38-year-old seasons. But he's got to be able to stay healthy to do that. And Mike Trout's amazing. Like I said, just came out one of the best players in all of baseball history in his first 8 to 10 seasons. So I started to ramble on Mike Trout, but I have a lot of feels about Mike Trout. So next on the list, again, no doubt Hall of Famer if he retires today, is Clayton Kershaw. Sorry, excuse me. Here's the Bowman Chrome draft picks rookie. So Clayton Kershaw is 36 years old. He has a 79.4 WAR. He has 212 wins, a 2.50 ERA for his career. Right now, he is sitting at 2,968 strikeouts. And his whip is 1.010, and that's tremendously good over the course of his career. He's won an MVP, 10-time All-Star, 5-time ERA title winner, 3 Cy Young Awards. He's won a World Series, Major League Player of the Year, a pitching Triple Crown, a Gold Glove. So for me, Clayton Kershaw, if you're going to go out and buy his card, which is pretty expensive, at least his Topps base rookie card is, in a 10, it's between $340 and $390 right now, depending on if you're looking at SGC or PSA. A 9 is $94 to $113, again, depending on whether or not you're looking at PSA or SGC. My thoughts on buying a Clayton Kershaw rookie card, if you're a collector on a budget and you want to go out and buy a 9 for around $100, I would say it's probably better to do it now, because I saw this with the next guy of what's going to happen once Clayton Kershaw breaks 3,000 strikeouts. And he's really close. He needs 32 strikeouts, and he's going to break over the 3,000 strikeout threshold. And when that happens, his card value is going to go up. He's 36 years old, so we don't know how many seasons he's got left in him. He battled some injuries last year. I think he only started a handful of games. So it may be a good time to buy some Clayton Kershaw. I'm not advising anyone to go out and buy Clayton Kershaw, but if it were my money and I really wanted one, then I would go out and buy one maybe this off season. And then his Bowman draft picks is pretty cheap. I want to say this is like an $80 card in a 9. So if you don't want to fork out $300 or so, or $100 to get this one, then you can get this one for about half the price. So just my 2 cents. What I'd like to see from Clayton Kershaw is I would just like to see him break the 3,000 strikeout record. I'd like to see him come back healthy and pitch a few more seasons where he can win, 12 to 13, maybe 15 games. But again, there's no doubt in my mind if he retired today, he's in the Hall of Fame. So really, what more can you ask for him or ask of him? To me, it's just the fact that he's 36 years old. To me, I would like to think that he has a few more seasons left in him. So next, we have Mad Max Scherzer. And again, this ties into Clayton Kershaw because I saw what Max Scherzer's cards did when he crossed over the 3,000 strikeout threshold. This card shot up to about $750. Now, it's a lot lower than that now, but Max Scherzer is 39 years old. He has a 75.4 WAR for his career. He's got 216 wins, a 3.16 ERA, 3,407 strikeouts, and a whip of 1.078 for his career. He's also won 3 Cy Youngs. He's been an 8-time All-Star. He's won 2 World Series championships. This card currently in a 10 is about $90 to $120. And again, that's come down tremendously here in these last couple seasons because he's struggled to stay healthy. And a 9 can be had for less than $40, right around $38. So what I'd like to see for Max Scherzer is him to have another healthy season or 2 if he decides he wants to try to stick around. I haven't heard anything about him retiring yet. Max Scherzer is a sentimental dude to me because he's from Missouri. He pitched at the University of Missouri. There are tremendous parallels between him and Clayton Kershaw's career. They were rookies the same season. They both won 3 Cy Young awards. They're both going to go down in the modern era of some of the best to do it. And so really for him, he's Max Scherzer, same as Clayton Kershaw. He's got nothing to prove. He's a Hall of Famer if he retires today. I would like to see him maybe go above that 3,500 strikeout threshold. But really, there's nothing other than just padding his career wins and maybe his career WAR. Like, I don't think he's at the point in his career where he's going to challenge for Cy Young awards anymore. But I'd like to see him have a couple healthy, productive seasons of 10 to 12, maybe 14 wins or so. But again, there's no doubt in my mind if he retired today that he's a Hall of Famer. All right, so last but not least, I just showed this card recently on my last video, is Justin Verlander. So Justin Verlander is 41 years old. He has an 80.5 WAR for his career. Right now he's sitting at 262 wins. He has a 3.30 career ERA. He has 3,416 strikeouts for his career and a 1.125 whip. He's won an MVP. He's won a pitching triple crown. He's won 2 ERA titles. And again, just like Scherzer and Kershaw, he's won 3 Cy Youngs. He's been an All-Star 9 times. He won the AL Championship Series MVP. He was Rookie of the Year. He's won 2 World Series. And he was also Major League Player of the Year. Right now, you can find this card for about $112 to around $130 in a 10. And then a 9 will cost you right around $30. So Justin Verlander is probably going to be the last pitcher to ever chase 300 wins for his career. And I don't think he will get there, but he's 38 wins away. So he's 41 years old. Again, injuries have caught up to him. I think the year before last, he was in double digits for wins. So really he's got nothing to prove. He's a Hall of Famer if he retires today. I don't think I've heard anything about him retiring yet. But what I'd like to see for him is him to stay healthy, him to be healthy this season, maybe go out and win 12, 14, 15 games. If he can do that, if he wins 12 games, that's going to put him at 274 for his career. He'll be 26 wins away from 300. So maybe that's enough motivation for him to stay a couple more years. If he's healthy next year and puts up a good year, that may give him enough motivation to stay a couple extra years in his career and try to chase 300 wins for his career. But again, the biggest question with anyone at 41 years old is, can he stay healthy? I don't think he's going to get there. I would love to see it, but I know that the odds of that are long. I mean, Randy Johnson still pitched at a high level in his 40s. Nolan Ryan pitched at a high level in his 40s. So there have been guys out there that have done it, but it's going to take a lot, I think, for Justin Verlander to get there with, kind of the struggles he's had for the last, 4 or 5 seasons off and on. So that's my list of guys that if they retire today are in the Hall of Fame. If there are others that you think I should have included, again, I probably don't have their cards, but I'd be happy to hear your thoughts on who else I could have added to this list. So I just hit 40 minutes on this video. I'm not going to talk too much longer as I don't want to drag it out too long, but all these cards, other than a few exceptions of Mike Trout and Clayton Kershaw, like, you can find them fairly cheaply in 9s or 10s. For Trout and Kershaw, if 9s and 10s are too expensive for you, go out and look at their Bowman or one of their other rookie cards that are going to be cheaper, and you can still find them in the budget range, right? Again, if you believe in these guys, you like them as a player, whatever the case may be, then by all means, feel free to buy their rookie card. Don't take this as an investment advice. I'm not an investor. I'm a collector. You're not if you're a collector, like, I don't know. I buy a lot of cards that I wouldn't buy. I'll just put it that way. If I were looking at this as a way to make money or looking at the long-term value of cards, I wouldn't be buying a lot of the cards that I do buy. So don't trust me for investment advice, please. But really, that's my thoughts on the modern era of baseball. Today's got some of the greatest players, really, in some cases, the history of baseball. I think Shohei Ohtani's doing amazing and special things. Same way with Aaron Judge. But those guys were just too young for me to include them on my list. And you could throw guys like Ozzie Albies and Ronald Acuna and some other guys like that in there as well. Another one definitely that I missed, and it's because I don't have any of his rookie cards, is Jose Altuve. Is another guy that is close to being a Hall of Famer already. I think Matt Olson is another guy that has a shot. So we could really be playing in an era of baseball today that could see 10, 15, 20 Hall of Famers. It's really hard to say. I think 20 might be a stretch, but 15, 10 to 15, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility with some of these guys that are playing today if they stay healthy. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up at that. If you're still with me, I really appreciate it, and I hope that you found some value education-wise or at least entertainment-wise out of this video. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, if you would do so, I would appreciate that greatly. And then if you would, give this video a thumbs up. So until the next one, I hope everybody has a good one, and I'll talk to you later.